These are all the fresh vegetables that we're going to use today here in my exciting little adventure in the kitchen. Welcome to Time Traveler. Right. I have a little tub here, and I put in all the goodies for my chickens. And they enjoy and appreciate the little snacks. When I'm done, you guys can come out with me and see how excited they get over getting treats. How does that sound? Meow. Meow. Oh my goodness. I've got a talking kitty here that wants my attention. I've got a whining dog down the hall. And I'm trying to really focus on this because this is my thumb. Me and Amanda Lynn had a disagreement, and the Mandolin won. And I've been wearing this Band-Aid for the last 2 weeks because I buzzed off a good-sized chunk of my thumb. So I'm cutting these and doing these real quick because I want to pay close attention to what I'm doing and not cut any more of my body parts off. So just bear with me here. This is pretty quick business, getting all these chopped, and then I gotta get on to the rest of it. This should be good for a tier or two. All right, we're going to put some salt in this water. Got to be enough for the soup and enough for the chicken. And now I'm going to wrap the chicken. All right, we're going to start loading stuff in here, starting with the thickest, hardest vegetables first, which are the carrots and the celery. And then the more tender vegetables will be put in a little bit later. And I'm going to throw the onions in. So this is basically a chunky sofrito. And that smells good already. Hope there's room for the bird. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Welcome to Time Traveler. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back if you've been following along. Oh, it's a brisk day outside, and it's supposed to get down to freezing temperatures again for an entire week, this coming week. And so I decided to make a giant pot of chicken soup. Now, the last time I made the pot, I made it in the pot that you just saw me. Well, you didn't just see me, because I'm not posting this in order of how I filmed it exactly, because I just am a mess in the head trying to figure some of this stuff out. But anyway, I transferred everything to my ginormous pot that is like huge, because I went to the grocery store, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago, and I bought a chicken there, and it was around $5, but it was small, but it was good. It was perfect for what I wanted. But I went to Walmart shopping yesterday, and all they had were these big birds. And so the chicken was $7. But when I went 2 weeks ago, I wrote down all the ingredients that I purchased that day and how much everything cost me. And it turned out to be like $1.40 a serving for this beautiful, beautiful chicken soup that's hearty and warm and full of tender boiled chicken meat and just absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to get my cheesecloth and my string, because I like to wrap the chicken, because when I take it out of the pot, I don't want it falling apart. I don't want bones or things falling back into the pot and me finding them later. And so I do this so that everything stays intact, and then I can take it out and it has time to cool while the vegetables are still cooking. And then I usually eat the breast meat by myself as a meal, and I take all of the rest of it and pick it down into fine little bite-sized pieces and throw it in the pot, and it was plenty last time. And so since the bird is bigger, and I'm using a bigger pot, it's going to be amazing. So hang in there with me, and we're going to get this going. Got the kettle on in case I need to add any hot water in this. Today we're using basil and thyme and oregano. And I've got a little bowl here of bay leaves. They're the last ones that I have, and I figured I'd just throw them all in because it's time for some fresh ones. And this is a Parmesan rind. It's the back. I have grated it down and put it in my food, and I'm just going to drop it down in there. I've heard that's what they do. I don't know. I'm going to find out and see how it's good. I've got a bunch of these in the freezer, but I'm going to use this one today. I hear it gives an amazing flavor, so we're going to find out. We've got cabbage, we've got green and yellow squash. I sliced a potato because, hey, why not? It was really good last time. I don't usually use potato, but it was really good. And so this is going to come to a boil, and when it does, I will be dropping the chicken into it. All right. I like to wrap my chicken, and I think maybe that's going to take all of it, so I don't even need to cut it. I need to order another box of this. But it keeps everything separated the way I like it. for a long time, for 8 years, I was vegetarian because I was doing spiritual processes with Swami Kaleshwar and my Sai students that I spent time with in India. And so it required no alcohol and no meat when you were doing processes. And because my brain short circuits on me sometimes, I just decided to go completely veg so that I wouldn't have to worry that I forgot about something. So let me get the chicken. All right. This sucker weighed 5 pounds, which is pretty big for a chicken. I'm glad it's large, but boy, I almost don't have enough here. This was a big bird. But that's going to hold it good enough. Flip it over. See if we can get this the way I want it. I'm not great at this kind of thing, but I just take the path of least resistance and do the best I can. Okay. Okay, got her all wrapped up. Not sure how it happened, but that came out pretty doggone good. Nice and snug, and gonna drop it into the pot. All right, I'm going to turn that back up till it hits a good boil, and I'm going to dig up a lid here. All right, so it's coming to a boil, and I'm going to turn it down and simmer it, make sure it cooks really, really good all the way through for the next hour. And in the meantime, we're gonna sit and chat for a little bit, and while this is cooking. Okay, got the pot on, and it's weird because I feel like I don't have a lot to say today. This is, for me, a departure because usually when I cook with ADHD and autism, I have to pay really close attention because I will forget really important parts or get carried away with the knife, fun stuff like that. This is very meditative experience for me, cutting all the vegetables and getting them all. There's an order that they need to be cooked in. The hardest vegetables need to go in first so that they can get done. And then the tender vegetables, you don't want them to turn to complete mush, so you add them at the very end. And it's a whole process that you really need to, that I personally need to focus on so that I can enjoy the results of my work. I raised 5 kids, and I never really learned how to cook a small meal. So I cook in giant batches. For one thing, I don't want to cook every day. And I just make giant batches. You've seen me batch cook pasta and polenta in Sulmona, Italy. And I would like to possibly video another one here, because that was an interesting kitchen. The counter space was like 8 inches wide, and I had to do everything that I do in my giant kitchen in this little bitty kitchen. So I may try it again here, because I wanted to bring Italy home with me when I'm not there. I miss it. And so my way of doing that was learning to make focaccia bread and learning to watch a YouTube channel called Pasta Grammar. And I've bought their cookbook, and I love Jamie Oliver. I love watching cooking shows, not so much the cooking part of it, but I kind of got over that. I used to say if it had more than 3 ingredients, I didn't want to mess with it. And that pretty much took everything out of it. But I would make stuff up off the top of my head, just like I've done this soup. I don't have a recipe. I'm just throwing things in and putting it together, and it always comes out wonderful, and I always enjoy it. So, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. Whatever your favorite vegetables are, and boil a chicken and then take the chicken off the bone and throw it in the soup. And I put a good portion of this in the freezer, and then I eat on it for the next week or so and finish what's in the pot in my fridge. And it's easy for me. That's the thing, is having ADHD and autism, I don't always notice my hunger cues, don't realize that I'm hungry until suddenly I'm dizzy and I'm shaking and my mouth is watering and I don't feel well. And when I've gotten to that point, then I can't focus enough to cook or even think of what to eat. And so this helps me avoid that issue, so that there's always something good and nutritious available for me whenever. And it's all about self-care and self-love, and everybody deserves that. Everybody needs it. It's important. What do you want, Praline? That's my knee. You need your toenails clipped. Sorry. I've got 6 hairless cats, and one of them's not so hairless, and her name is Ruth Bader Skinsberg. And then I have Peaches and Praline and Prada and Portobello Mushroom and Ganesh. And they are like my children. They're absolutely adorable and interesting. Each one has their own personality and quirks and things that they like. Praline is in love with Q-tips, and ink pens. They love ink pens. So every ink pen is stuck in the spiral parts of a spiral notebook so that I can find it when I want to use it. Otherwise, they end up sweeping it under the rug because they're talented like that. So anyway, I'm going to let this simmer for the next, we got 51 minutes and 20 seconds on the timer. And then I will come back when it's time to take the chicken out. And if I have something else that comes up to my mind to say, because I just don't want to stand here and ramble, which I could do easily. I spent last evening on a phone call with a friend in Colorado, and every time we've ever talked, we met at the home property tour with a home in Italy. We met in October for the first time, and we sat next to each other the very first night. We hit it off and have become good friends. And usually our phone calls are like 3 hours because we have so much. It's nice to have somebody that feels the way you feel and is excited about what you're excited about, and you can talk for hours and hours and hours about how excited you are and what things you want to see and what traveling you want to do, because we're both women in our 60s, or she may just be crossing over that line on her next birthday coming up in a month or two. And, you know, we both traveled by ourselves, solo. And it can be kind of a scary thing, but just do it. Just tell fear to fuck off, you know, and step out, because nobody's going to push you to do it. You have to want it for yourself. Again, back to self-love and self-care. Do what makes your soul sing. I got a little sign up here in the wall. It says, do what makes you happy. And that's what I'm doing. So last night, the phone call ended up, we tried to get off the phone at 10 after 12, and it took us another 20 minutes, so it was 12:30 before we hung up. Now, my bedtime's 10 p.m., and I am always in my room with a book in my hand, reading until I can't keep my eyes open. And last night, we were 6 minutes short of talking for 4 hours, because she and I have some plans that I will share with you down the road when things firm up a little bit more. But we're very excited about the things that are happening, and we had a lot to say. And so I really, really enjoy talking with somebody who understands my excitement and understands my passion for Italy. I've waited 22 years to do these things, to go there, to travel. And I learned that I did not enjoy going on a quick group where you went here and you went there and you went here and you went there and you changed hotels a bunch. And I didn't enjoy that. Again, back to the ADHD and autism. I like a routine, and I want to travel slow. I don't want somebody saying, okay, you've got 45 minutes in this stop, and then we're going to get on a train and we're going to go to the next place. And it just wasn't the feeling I was looking for. The feeling I'm looking for is peace and wonderment, and admiring the architecture, the magic portals. I love the old doors. They just excite me. I love painting. As a matter of fact, you can see right there, and it's on my channel as my thingy in the round, is a watercolor that I painted of the very first portal that I came across in Italy on my first trip back, because I was there in the 80s once, briefly. But this was a yoga retreat, and this was the door to our villa. And I loved it, and I took a picture of it, and I came home and I did watercolors of it. And then I took those to Staples, I think it was, and made 18 copies and sent one to each woman in the retreat that came with. And it was fun painting it. It was 17 layers, like you have to dot, little green dots of varying colors and sizes, and try not to let them touch and bleed into each other. It was 17 layers of leaves to get that green archway over the door. But it has such a meaning for me, and I just enjoy. I'm an artist. I'm a Reiki master. Oh, speaking of that, I do Reiki symbols over my food. Always. I set my intention for good healing meals that are nourishing and are beneficial to my body. And so having my Reiki Master certification, I've been a teacher, and I've been everything. And that's, as a child, I knew that I wanted to come to this earth to experience everything there was to experience. That has been something that's been in the back of my mind since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I just wanted to do everything because life's short. So get out there and get on it. I'll be right back. All right, we're going to take cuttings, bits from the vegetables, and we're going to go out and visit my chickens and see how much they enjoy this. Good afternoon, girls. Hey. Why is your food thing knocked over on its side? Hard for me to see. Ain't that special? This makes me want to hurl every time I come out here. Girls, hi. How are you? Huh? How are you doing? Okay, I got chicken snacks. They're like, thank you, Mommy. This is good stuff. Oh, and look at me, like an idiot. I wore my house shoes out here. I have chicken shoes to wear out in the pen because chicken poop. Hello. Set that back upright. I like having the chickens. Okay. We have 2 minutes and 59 seconds left on the clock before I throw in. Actually, I think I'm going to throw in the rest of this stuff right now. Let me turn the camera around. All right. I'm going to wait until I take that chicken out so there's room for it. Okay. I got the chicken out all in one piece. All I had to do was lift it with a fork. And normally when I try to get it out, it completely falls apart, which is why I started wrapping them. So now we're going to add in the squash and the cabbage. And I'm going to pepper this just a little bit. All right, we're going to bring this back to a boil and add a little bit more water to it and give it a taste. And I'm going to let this chicken cool down so I can pick it. All right, I'm going to clip the strings here. See if I can't unwrap it. I'm being impatient. I hope I don't burn my fingers here. But it's a possibility. Right, flip you back over, or not. There we have a nice boiled bird. I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Amelie, but there's a part in the movie Amelie where this gentleman that she's looking for, and it's a French film and it's all subtitles, but I absolutely love it. There's a gentleman and he talks about cooking a chicken every Sunday so that he can share it with his grandson. And this little piece right here in the back of the chicken, I don't know for sure what it's called, but it's really soft and it's tender and it's wonderful, and it's one of my favorite parts. And he talks about getting these and sharing them with his grandson. And so that's a fond, ouch, memory for me. And I always like to take those and set them aside because I just want to eat them. I don't want to put them in the soup. So I'm going to let this has to cool because I'll get crazy and try to pick it and end up burning myself something fierce. So the soup is thick. I may add a little more water, not sure, but I'm going to pick this chicken as soon as it cools down and put it in here, and these vegetables are cooking down, and I got another 15 minutes or so before I test them. So, be right back. All right. Well, I have picked the chicken, and I have broken it up into small pieces, and I have stirred it all in, and it tastes wonderful. And all the vegetables are the perfect amount of tenderness, and if they're not quite there, then they're gonna, while this is coasting to a stop, then they will finish softening up. So let's see what's next. I just noticed that the camera timing of my filming for this little tiny segment stopped at 5 minutes and 55 seconds. And 555 is the angel number for massive change. It can also mean financial abundance is coming my way. And yay, I'll take that. I'll absolutely take some of that. That's a number that my friend last night in our phone call we had a discussion about because she's seeing 555s and 222s everywhere. So those are confirmations that she's on the right path for her. My numbers are 777 and 111, and every time before I get ready to go to Italy, non-stop, all day, every day, I see 111 everywhere, all the time. And it's interesting because that's, again, it's confirmation that I'm on the right path and things are going well for me, and I appreciate that. I take my hope anywhere I can get it. And I like to dabble in angel numbers and in tarot cards and in oracle decks, which I think I'd mentioned before. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy looking at it. The majority of the decks, especially the oracle decks, are kind of like positive affirmations, sort of like for the day. And I appreciate reading them, and it gives me a whole new perspective on what may pop up during the day. Oh, my kitchen smells like bleach. I've got all the dishes in the dishwasher, the counter's cleaned off. I've got this beautiful soup, and I've got you beautiful people that I want to say thank you. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. I know making soup can be boring to some, but it's a passion for me because, again, we go back to self-love and self-care, and those are some of the most important things you can do, because only you know what you need, and only you pretty much can do it the way you want it done. So take that advice. I also want to give a shout out to women of my age, in their 60s, in their 50s, even in their 40s, or their 70s, or their 80s. If you've always wanted to travel and you've been afraid to, please stop letting fear dictate your life, because you're living too small. You got to live large. You get just this little blink of an eye here on this blue floating marble in the galaxy, and there's lots to see, There's lots to do. There's lots to experience. And I would focus when I started traveling. The first time I traveled by myself, I focused on the rooms, and I was in charge of the rooms. And the next time I focused on learning, the metro, the bus, the train, all of those kind of things, because I wanted to get better at it. I wanted to feel more confident with it. It's exciting, and it can be a little scary, but it's also very relaxing, and you develop this sense of yourself that you didn't have because you accomplished something that fear told you couldn't do. And I never listen to fear because I can do anything. And I think that you can do anything too. And so I invite you to join me on my continuing journey. And my friend, and I don't want to name her YouTube channel yet because I don't want to say it wrong, but she's coming up with a coaching business to help women of our age gain their confidence, lose their fear, and figure out how to do this. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful to support other women who, I know deep down, some of you have wanderlust. Some of you have that. Not everybody has it, but some of you do. And if you've not gone traveling because you don't want to go by yourself, or you're afraid, or there's nobody to go with you, bullshit. Don't let that stop you. Live your life, live it big, live it large. You know, my favorite part of the movie Titanic with Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet is in the end. It's the part where the older woman, that's on the boat, when she comes to stay on the boat, and on the sideboard next to her bed are all the pictures of all the crazy and wild, fun things she did in her life. And that's what I strive for, is to find those fun, interesting, crazy things, to do everything there is to do, to see all the things that I want to see and experience them the way I want to experience them. And so I challenge you to take that first step. You're welcome to leave me a comment, and Angel and I will be doing interviews of each other for the channel at some point in the future. And I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I'm not a coach, but I will be your cheerleader. She'll be your coach. And we make a good team. And anything I can do to help you or encourage you, or advice I can give you, or information that I've learned along the way that I can impart, I would be happy to share that with anybody that wants to try this, that wants to experience their life to the absolute fullest. Because you never know when you're done until you're done. And so, get your money's worth. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. Hope you subscribe. No pressure if you don't want to, but I would love it if you did. I would love it if you'd leave a comment. If you have any questions, that's my chicken soup for my soul for the ADHD autistic girl. And it's wonderful because I'll have meals for almost 2 weeks with that. And it's very economical, it's very hearty, it's very filling, and I love it. And I love that you came along. So I'm going to close this video out now and just want to say how much I appreciate you coming along. Ciao for now.